What's up, everybody? It's your boy Anthony Simmons, and you're here today watching me on Higher Heights. That's right, Higher Heights. And today I got a good topic for you. We're going to talk about some good old-fashioned soul selling. That's right, good old-fashioned soul selling. You heard what I said. I said it right. I didn't stutter or none of that real quick. I want to talk about how people get themselves in trouble and then they want to blame everybody else in the world for what's going on in their life. But really, it has something to do with you and what you decided to do. With that being said, before I get into this topic right now, I want y'all to smash that like button. Hold on, let me say it again. Smash that like button. I need y'all to subscribe. I'm almost at my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and then we're going to push beyond that. But as of now, I need y'all to subscribe. Then also, I need y'all to hit the notification bell. Do not leave it lonely. That's how we pay the bills around here. And then another thing is, I need you, if you have a comment, to hashtag Higher Heights in the comments. With that being said, let's get into this topic. Selling your soul. Let me tell y'all a quick story real quick before we go into anything. I remember when I used to work for Verizon cell phone company, like the call center or whatever. When I used to work for the call center, I used to constantly get these complaints of people calling in after they get their first bill. It had been like 30 days since they signed up initially for the phone contract. And a lot of times at the call center, we handle complaints. So a lot of the calls that I would feel or would come in were from people complaining about how high their cell phone bill was. They were irate. They wanted to speak to managers. They want to curse somebody out. They needed somebody to feel their pain. And while I did feel their frustrations and pain at the time, I also understood when the manager would get on the phone and they would explain, well, did nobody properly explain to you about proration? Did they not properly explain to you that your first bill will probably be a little bit higher, so forth and so on? A lot of these times, the people would lie like, no, nobody really explained to me that the first bill was going to be probably a little bit higher. And some of these people weren't just complaining about the first bill, first of all. Some of them were complaining about, like, they were constant complainers. Like, they didn't know that their bills was going to be this high. They didn't understand data usage and none of that. And this is before unlimited was like really, really a big thing. But at the end of the day, I had to explain this like this. Many times we don't count up the cost before we do anything. Like, a lot of times people go into the cell phone store, they're just anxious to get a cell phone. Like, the person behind the counter is probably trying to explain to you, like, look, proration, your first bill is going to be a little high because, you're going to have this month bill, half of this month bill, and another bill added on before you get your bill. They're trying to explain it to you, and you just like, yada, 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 boom, where do I sign my name? I want my cell phones. That's the problem with most people. They're not trying to hear nothing. They want what they want, and they want it now. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the problem with most of us. In the Bible, God say, be anxious for nothing. Be anxious for nothing. And a lot of us are very anxious. We don't have patience. We don't have grace. We don't wait on God. We don't meditate on the things that we need to meditate on. We do not count up the entire cost of a situation before we get into it. And that's what was happening with a lot of these people. Now, when we talk about these people in the entertainment industry, especially in the music industry, this is what has happened to a lot of them. A lot of people are sitting down, signing these contracts, signing these music deals, and later on they're finding out that the deal was not in their favor. Or they thought they were going to be able to do exactly what they wanted to do artistically, and it's not working out in their favor. It's like T-Pain said. I had watched something T-Pain was saying. He said, do you think if I gave you $10 million, if I give you $10 million as a record contract, as a record label, do you think that I'm going to let you do whatever you want to do with that money? No, it don't matter what you do until I recoup my 10 million. You belong to me because I need to make the decision. I just gave you 10 million. It don't have to be 10 million. It could be 100,000. It could be 500,000. Whatever you sign for, it could be 50,000. If I sign you to a record contract and I give you this money, yes, I want to recoup my money before anything. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times what happens to these artists is they sign these contracts and they find out that they don't belong to themselves anymore. But when the contract was put before them, I guarantee you, they did not count up the cost. What person sits down to build a house without counting the cost. The Bible is full of wisdom that we take for granted, or we really don't read for ourselves to understand it and apply it to our lives. But the Bible has a lot of wisdom that if we would just sit back and take the time to analyze, then we would be better for it. Yes, fam, we would be better for it. So what happens is a lot of people are anxious. I can imagine being a young, hungry artist, ready to be out there, ready to get this publicity, ready to get promoted, the way that a music label can do it. And so you're ready for your music to be heard. And so you don't even have proper representation when it comes to reading a contract that has a lot of legal jargon on it that you are not familiar with. A lot of these contracts have language that you know that you are not familiar with. And so you don't even have proper representation when you sit down to look at these contracts because you're anxious. And when the Bible tells us believers to be anxious for nothing, this is what it's talking about. Because if we get ahead of God in life sometimes thinking that this is God's blessing, but then you find yourself tangled up dancing with the devil, many times it ends up being too late for people. Now, what I wanted to say about this fact too, nobody forces you to sell your soul. Nobody forces a man to sell his soul. Let me say that again. Nobody can force a man to sell his soul. What happens is selling your soul ain't got nothing to do with signing your name on the dotted line. Selling your soul ain't got nothing to do with meeting with the devil in a dark room in the corner. Selling your soul is when you compromise yourself. When you compromise yourself at any point in life, your morals, your beliefs, your faith, you have now sold your soul. You have now sold your soul. That's when the soul selling starts. Now, when you ink a deal with these people that's over these entertainment industry and record labels and all that good stuff, that's just a part of it. But you sold your soul before you even sat down at that table. Yeah, you sold your soul before you sat down at the table. You made a deal with Satan in your heart that said you're willing to do what it takes to get this money. I'm tired of waiting on God. Matter of fact, I'm going to say that this is God trying to give me this $1 million, trying to give me this $10 million right now. I'm going to even flip that and say that it is God. Because you're anxious. You ain't counting up the cost that you're going to have to do all this work. You ain't counting up the cost that you don't belong to yourself anymore. You ain't counting up the cost that you're not going to be able to release the music that you thought you was going to release. We're going to tell you what to release. We're going to tell you how to sound. We're going to tell you what singles we want you to drop. And if you ain't talking about what we want you to talk about, then we're not. If you're not talking about what we want you to talk about, then no, it's not going out. So with that being said, most people don't count up the cost of what the record label is going to ask for when they make these deals. With that being said, soul selling, y'all, people sell their souls at McDonald's. People sell their souls at Ashley's Furniture. People sell their souls in these churches. Anytime you compromise what you believe in and your morals, you are selling your soul. Something that you know and your heart isn't right to do, you selling your soul. This is why the Bible teaches us, study to show thyself approved. Because if you go out here and agree to something, approve mean I agree with. So I'm not walking with nobody that I don't agree with because I study. Now, when I study, if we line up and our spirits click and we're on the same stuff, then hey, I'm going to walk with you because I'm agreeing with what you putting down. I agree with what you stand for. You feel me? So I think that a lot of people want to blame people when they do this, when they find themselves in a compromised position. And this is what makes it hard, fam. When you find out that you're in this position and you've sold your soul, what makes it hard is the things you have to give up to get your soul back, to get your integrity back, to get your faith back. See, that's why God said it'll be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than the rich man to enter into heaven. It would be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it would be for a rich man to enter into the kingdom. Because you don't want to give up what you have to give up that's necessary in order for you to get into this kingdom. That's the same way once you get these riches, once you get the house, once you get the Adidas contract, once you get the advertisement, once you get the commercials and the movie deals, it's hard to give that up. And so the enemy is playing with you at this point. Now, you want to go back to doing fries at McDonald's, man? You want to go back to where only 2 people liking your music on Facebook? You want to go back to where you You want to go back to doing that, or you want to stay with this conglomerate? You want to stay with where all you got to do, we got the machine behind you and we could push you. Your song ain't even good, but we making a million, you getting 1 million streams a day. Yeah, the machine can do that. AKA the infrastructure, AKA the system, AKA, yeah, the Antichrist. So selling your soul happens inside of your heart before you even put your name on any dollar line. So when people talking about signing their name in blood, bro, y'all don't realize the almighty dollar runs this world. You can't serve God and mammon. Look that up in the Bible. You can't serve two gods, because you end up hating the one for the other or hating that one for the other. You know what I'm saying? You can't serve both of them. Selling your soul. What y'all think about it in the comments? Go ahead and like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We trying to run these likes up. I need y'all to subscribe, share it, all that good stuff. Hashtag higher heights in the comment. Let me know what y'all think about selling your soul. When does it actually happen? Who's to blame for selling your soul? And the good news is you can get it back if you're willing to give up those things that you thought was worth it. Y'all be blessed.